about like stepping into the new year with a bang, and we've got all the tips and tricks you need to make it your year our healthiest year. So whether you're ready to level up your fitness, get your diet in check, or just learn how to stay more active, this session is going to give you all the information you need to turn your health game up a notch. First, we are thrilled to welcome Dr. Sunny, one of our powerhouse speaker for the week. Dr. Sunny is a passionate advocate for health and wellness and is renowned for the work with School of Bionatural Medicine. With years of experience and deep knowledge in the realm of bionatural practices, his holistic approaches to wellness aligns perfectly with the topic at hand, that's showing us how to step into 2025 with a mind-body connection that leads to a lasting health and vitality. I now introduce our amazing speaker, which is Tony Kelly. But before Tony Kelly comes on the stage, over to you, Dr. Sunny. Can you just have a few words with you?
Fantastic. It's been an amazing afternoon, evening, and in fact, the whole week so far. And for our glorious host, Aisha, who has been an amazing, like a moon and star, always stable, always there, even when she's ill. Even when it's rainy, the sky will always illuminate its own shyness. The moon will appear, the sun will also. So it's Aisha. Aisha, we're very grateful for you holding on to the fortress all the time and organizing this today for I know he doesn't want to be called doctor, but Dr.
Yes.
Tony Kelly is what I'm going to address him as because it has been conferred on him by one of the famous prestigious UK University of Warwick. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Dr. Tony Kelly, and I know you're very humble about it, and this is the way it is. So we are very glad to have you today on this particular platform. Tony has been in the wellness field. It's all about how you can keep healthy. That's what Tony's objective is all about. Particularly some of us who are suffering from, what they call the round the belly condition, diabetes, right? That's Tony's advocacy, even within the as an ambassador for the National Health Service UK, NHS. Tony is known for that, and that's exactly what he's going to be sharing with you today. Why are we picking on the issue of diabetes? Well, diabetes, as we demonstrated on this particular platform before, all our whole body are all connected and interconnected and strategically interdependent, aren't they? So when you have one part of your body that is actually aching from pain, from diabetic condition, invariably it's going to affect every other part of the body. So today's presentation is going to give you some information, tips, how you can avoid or things that you can do to improve your health and wellness. Let me just say that this particular platform, we've been broadcasting about issues relating to health and wellness for the last 7, 8, 9 years. Our project has been in operation for the last 11 years, based on my son who had been ill in London, taking him to hospital, and we were waiting for a doctor for many hours, over 10 hours. So on the base of that prompted me into, developing a technology that brings about proximity between patients and their medical or healthcare professional, whereby we can reach you anywhere you are and provide you with some solutions. Putting together community of people, which I call the integrative medicine professionals. So whether we're going to use the traditional medicine, Western based, or we're going to use allopathic intervention or Chinese acupuncture, so patient or client can have choices in terms of what they need to do. But this particular platform, every single Wednesday, we actually give out what is called Your Health and Wellness Matters. This is where we discuss. Last week, we were discussing issues relating to autoimmune disease. The other week, we were discussing issues relating to lack of sleep. Next week, we have another chapter and verse of medical condition. And today, we're going to have the one that is actually over almost 1 billion people, 870 something million of people suffering from diabetic condition all over the world. That's the latest statistics based on my research. It may have been more than that, even since the last time these data have been produced. So you can see that is a topic that affects almost an eighth of the population. 1 divided by 8 will give you what? 20, let's say 25% of people around the globe. So it's a major chronic issue that affects everybody. So I'd like you to stay tuned while I introduce Dr. Tony Kelly, who is going to be discussing with you today. Tony, you're welcome to the program for today. And the podium is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. But before Tony come on stage and he starts, I would just like to give a quick introduction about Tony, just so that people know about him a little bit. Tony is born in London and raised in Jamaica, and Tony has been a passionate health advocate for years, focusing on diabetes awareness, healthy living, and the disease prevention. And with an extensive background in education, equity, and public health, Tony has been dedicated his lifetime to empowering communities both in UK and internationally. He was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes 18 years ago. And Tony has successfully managed his condition through diet and exercise, proving that with the right mindset and discipline, a healthier life is possible. He has worked with Diabetes UK, NHS, and global health initiatives, and is sought after speaker on radio, TVs, and so many webinars. So, Tony, we are so fortunate that you're here, and I know that it's time for you to drop some serious health wisdom. I don't want to take any much more time. Over to you, Tony. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thanks both to you, Ash, and also to my good friend who said something about me at the beginning there. But here starts. Some people might end up, I know this is being recorded because other people who have not been able to join said, Tony, is it going to be recorded? And I said, yes, it will be, so that we can send it out to whoever would like to go. A path to a fitter, healthier you and me, 2025. That is what this topic is about. So it's not going to focus on diabetes alone. It's going to go into more practical hints and tips and advice. Okay, so if I share my screen, right. So there's my name, Tony Kelly. I'm a diabetes strategic patient partner, but they've changed the title actually. All of these slides were done up by mrcmedia.com. I've got to give them a plug because I'm a technophobe and I don't do the technology. So they prepared all these slides. So I'm now actually called a diabetes ambassador or diabetes advocate. And I work as a volunteer for the NHS Birmingham and Solihull Integrated Care System. My strapline or my motto is, our health is our wealth. So that's my starting point. What's happening now? I just pressed, but nothing's happening. Have I not? Am I screen sharing?
Yes, yeah, we can see you.
Just press it again, we'll go through.
So I pressed and nothing's happening at this end.
No, don't worry, Will. Maybe
you want to do it for me?
Okay.
To the next screen. It says your screen sharing. Sorry about this.
No problem.
There's always gremlins in the works when it comes on to computers.
Yeah, that's what technology does.
It does, yes.
Okay, perfect. I guess.
Yeah, I think it's on right now.
So are you able to go to the next slide?
Go ahead, Tony. This is the next slide, right?
Right. Are you pressing the next slide? No, I'm still showing on my screen, our health is our wealth. Can you forward it to the next slide, please?
The disclaimer is showing.
Or not on my screen, it isn't. Do I need to?
It's showing on mine.
Do I need to come out of this then, Aish?
Yeah, maybe you might stop sharing so that I can share it.
So, so if I pause share, your screen share is paused, it says.
Wait a second.
So if you do everything from your end, please, Aish, then.
Are you able to see now?
Yeah, I can see.
Tony, are you able
I'm
to
seeing
see?
all of this stuff, or all of the.
Oh, okay, Tony, I think you need to stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Your screen share is paused, so stop sharing.
Yes, please. Okay, perfect.
Stop share. So I've stopped sharing now.
Okay, now you can see my screen now.
Yeah, can see your screen. Yeah. Fabulous.
So we're on the second, we're on to the disclaimer. Right, and I will tell you when to, nothing's there. Yeah, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, because I know there's some people on this who are medically qualified healthcare professionals, some of you are studying in terms of at biomedical school, etc. I always start with my health disclaimer in that I'm not a healthcare professional. Since diagnosis with type 2 diabetes, and that slide really should say 20 years, Christmas just gone, which runs in my family. I am one of those persons who has been fortunate enough to, due to lifestyle, discipline, and so on, live with this medical condition without ever taking medication. Now, some of you straight away might say, well, why is he calling it a medical condition? Yes, some of the textbooks do refer to it as an autoimmune disease or a non-communicable disease or a chronic disease or an acute disease. But when Diabetes UK, Shalene Sandhu trained me 12 and a half years ago, 13 years this June, she explained to me as a Diabetes UK person training me that I am to refer to it as a medical condition. So although I say medical condition, simply put, it's the same as those who have been to medical school and it's been referred to as an autoimmune disease, a chronic disease, and acute disease. So, but I say medical condition. However, my diagnosis happened 20 years ago, this December gone, when my wife noticed the 4 key symptoms of tired, toilet, thirsty, thinner, the 4 T's, and kept saying something's wrong with me. And I was in denial, like the proverbial ostrich, burying my head in the sand, which is what most men do. Women at the first sign of an ache, a twitch, or a pain will make a beeline to go and see their GP. Men instead, it's a gender thing, go to the rum bar, gone to play the domino, gone to watch the cricket, or gone to watch the football, and they are not in touch with their feelings and emotions. And I'll raise my hand and say, I was one of those men. However, having seen firsthand back in Whitehall, St. Thomas, Jamaica, where I grew up, the blindness, the heart attacks, the strokes, the kidney failure, the cutting off of toes, lower limbs, and also premature death gone too soon. I was asking relatives of mine as an 8, 9, 10-year-old boy, what is the matter with them? And all they would do is tell me that they have a touch of sugar. It's an Asian, African, Caribbean thing, referring to diabetes as having a touch of sugar. So they minimize or trivialize or downplay this condition. So when I was diagnosed, they never used the word diabetes. So when I was diagnosed, after my wife kept complaining about me going 4 or 5 times during the night to the loo, And I went one morning early. The dipstick was put into the urine by the GP, held up to the light, and she says, you have blood glucose or blood sugar in your urine, and I think you have type 2 diabetes. But for a definitive answer, a sample of blood was sent from my arm to the clinic or the lab, and it came back confirming. But it didn't surprise me because in my case, it runs in the family. It's in the DNA, it's hereditary. So that's how I have it. But then I had decided then to make the behavioral or lifestyle changes in order to keep the complications at bay. Next slide, please, Aish. So we talk about a new year, a new start, a new me, and new you. And the focus of this presentation is going to be on physical activity. By the time we finish, you are all going to be as fit as ever and will be able to run the marathon, okay? That's my starting point. So physical activity, movement, and moving away from the sedentary couch potato lifestyle. And if there's anybody who's not understanding what sedentary or couch potato lifestyle means, it simply means sitting on your proverbial, on your bottom for most of the day and not doing any physical activity. That's what sedentary or couch potato lifestyle means. So we're talking about fitness, we're talking about getting healthier, we're talking about maintaining the momentum with a work-life balance and time for workouts. Click again, it will come up with something else, please. Ash. And the whole idea is to make physical activity, make it fun, make it exciting, make it a family affair, not you on your own trying to get yourself fit and active and healthy, but bringing, excuse me, your family members and friends and neighbors on this journey with you so that it's not just you on your own trying to do it. The more people who do it with you, the camaraderie and the getting together and geeing each other on is also very, very a good way to go about it. If you go to the next page, please. So, get into the habit or practice of saying physical activity. Keep scrolling down all of them. Yes. Saying physical activity as opposed to exercise. That's my starting point. It's a more inclusive term when you say physical activity. A lot of physical activity, for a start, can be done in the comfort of your home. Please bear that in mind. In the comfort of your home, you can do a lot of physical activity, okay? People with mobility, I always have to bring in mobility and disability issues, can also do physical activity. I'm sure some of us have watched the yearly marathon, which happens in about April each year in London. And you see some people with who are the most disabled and have physical inabilities there, yet still they are competing in the 26.2 mile marathon. So I am not having anybody say because of disability or inabilities or whatever, they're not able, mobility issues, they can't do physical activity. I don't buy that. On the subject of gyms, which I must mention, this time of the year, they are packed to capacity after the Christmas and New Year. Literally packed. You can't go on the various machines you want to go on because the gyms are full. And by February or going into March, the gyms are empty. And that is an annual thing which I have seen happening from I've started going to the gym how many years ago. There's no follow through. And I'm wanting people on this webinar to think, hey, I'm going to discipline myself to follow through, because the more physical activity you do, it is better for you. And you'll see that later on as we go along. So it's about making sure you stick to the program. Next slide, please. Having said that, the gym is not the be all or end all, and it is not everyone's favorite go-to place. I must mention that. Some of us from a certain age will know of Mr. Motivator and will know of the Green Goddess. And now we have Joe Wicks, this fitness guru or fitness coach. and they're trying to get people to do more physical activity and so on, and to go to the gym and do exercise. But as I say, exercise conjures up images of going to the gym. You will see here this physical activity, which I'm going to recommend you do, starting with Zumba. I go to a Zumba class and have been going to a Zumba class for the last 13, 14 years. Sometimes I'm the one, going Jamaican, one dege man in a Zumba class with 30 women. And I say, well, I am the rose amongst these thorns. I don't make it worry me. Don't be embarrassed about gender issues. Oh, I can't go into a class with all these women. I'll stick out like a sore thumb. You're there for your own body and your own mind. I do acrobics. I do swimming. I do fast-paced walking. I do yoga. I don't do disco dancing, but I put it in there. Gardening is physical activity. Cycling. And you might not be able to see it, but right next to me here is a stationary exercise bike. I have to say it's an exercise bike because that's the name they've given to it. You can go on buy a bike, an exercise bike, and while you're watching the television, while you're just sitting there doing the cycling, so you haven't left your house to go to the gym to do it, buy an exercise bike and cycle within your home. And then you can count the amount of calories, because they made them so well now that they can tell you how many calories you've used and how much you've burnt off and how many kilometers you've written or so on. Cleaning the windows is physical activity. Climbing the stairs, jogging, Tai Chi. I play badminton once a week, line dancing, karate. I'd go to James Pilates classes and do Pilates. Walking football. Some people ask me, what is walking football? It's the older you get, instead of running around like the footballers in the Premier League and Championship, the older you get, you're tiring and you're not so fit. So you do walking football. It's an actual activity that some men and women do out there. Netball, basketball, weightlifting. And when I say weightlifting, I am not talking the Arnold Schwarzenegger where you have the dumbbells, which are heavy as ever. Using cans of baked beans or plastic bottles with water. Must be plastic bottles, so if it drops on the floor, it doesn't smash and break. And you use those are your dumbbells, the cans of beans or the plastic bottles, and all you're doing to whatever music, Bhangra or soca or reggae music or classical music, you're bringing your arms from the lap position up to your shoulders. And then later on, you take them up into the air. And you're doing that on a regular basis. You are burning up the calories right in the comfort of your home. That's something I urge people to do. Deep breathing routines, sit-ups, if you're able to do sit-ups, press-ups, squats, leg raising activity, balancing on one leg to improve your balance and so on. And you see I put there popping poppers. And some of you might wonder, what's Tony Kelly talking about poppers? Poppers is, you go to Home Base, Home Bargain, or any of the stores, and you buy the roll, the wrappers, where you have the poppers, and all you do is pop them. That is therapeutic. And I buy these all the time, and if I visit an elderly person in the hospital or in an elderly person's home, residential home or so on, this is very good for them if they sit there and just keep popping these poppers. That's something, and it's cheap in Home Bargains and those stores. They have the rolls and rolls and rolls of them. If you do that, you are doing something which keeping mind and body and soul ticking over. The list is endless. I've just given a small sample of things that you can do. Move to the next slide, please. Now, if you visit the gym, please don't envy the men and women that you see with their toned and muscled bodies, because I know for a fact that some of them, not wishing to generalize, but some of them use steroids instead of going down the route of trying to take 8-9 months to get the brawn and the muscle and the biceps and the triceps. Some men and women in the gym, I see them 1 week and they're my size, and 3 weeks time, they look like the Incredible Hulk. And what they've done is actually use steroids pumped into their arms and into their thighs to give them that extra boost. And I have to say to them when I see them like that, I'll be quite honest and frank and open with them. please do not use steroids to build up your muscles, because what will happen eventually is the pancreas, that organ which we talk about, the 6-inch gland situated behind the navel or the belly button, produces the hormone insulin. Now we have type 1 diabetes. That's when the pancreas packs in all together. Type 2 is when you might have too much weight around the midriff, or it might be due to your work-life pursuits, or it might be to do with even skinny people can get type 2 diabetes. So diabetes is, the insulin is being made, but it's neither not doing its job properly or effectively. So the issue I'm bringing up on this slide is steroid-induced diabetes. It's not type 1, it's not type 2, it's bodybuilders, men and women, who choose to inject steroids into their arms and their thighs and their legs, end up getting steroid-induced diabetes. And once they have it, they cannot get rid of it. They have it for life. So they're no good to whoever, their partner or their spouse or their girlfriend or whoever. So that's something I have to try and get out there in terms of the long-term impact it has on the pancreas and cause them to have steroid-induced diabetes. I would rather see men and women bulking up by doing it over 8, 9, 10 months. That's the take on that one. So if you have any friends, relatives, or so on, who you notice they bulk up very quickly, you need to challenge them about that. Next slide, please. Now, benefits of regular physical activity. Some of you still are calling it exercise. Remember, I'm calling it physical activity. It reduces the blood glucose and blood sugar levels, which can prevent or control type 2 diabetes. That's why I do so much physical activity. I've got to keep my blood glucose and blood sugar levels low. So the more physical activity I am doing, I am burning up the calories and hopefully getting more muscle. But that's the number one. Number two, makes one develop more muscle tone and less fat. You're getting rid of the fat that's around the body by doing more physical regular activity. Reduces high blood pressure or hypertension. And we know within the South Asian, African, and Caribbean community, we're more prone and susceptible to develop high blood pressure and hypertension. So the more physical activity you are doing, then you are certainly reducing those two angles. It gives you a fitter and healthier heart so that the heart can send the blood around the whole body at a much even pace and not having to struggle because of all of this fat that's around the body and preventing it from pumping away how many pumps it should do per minute. It's known to ward off some cancers and also stimulate the brain. The more physically active you are, wards off cancer, stimulates the brain. Less stress. And I know we're in situations where we undergo a lot of stress. The more movement you do. In Jamaica, they call it Jamaica Moves, trying to get people to move more. The more movement you do, the more physical activity, as a result, less stress. And better overall moods. Endorphins, the feel-good chemicals, are hormones that are produced in the brain and released when the body experiences pain or stress. However, this is the main one. Endorphins are also released during pleasurable activities like physical activity, eating, and sexual intercourse. So we need to bear that in mind. Another benefit is relaxation. And another benefit is when you do physical activity, you build up a lot of sweat, which gets rid of the toxins within the body and acts as a de-cleanser. And sweating regulates body temperature. Always remember that as well. Sweating regulates body temperature. So try and sweat. When you're going on a fast-paced walk, don't do it leisurely and slowly. You won't get any benefit from that. You have to speed it up so you are sweating and sort of panting and out of breath. That then means your body is doing what it should be doing. Next slide, please. This is all about getting healthy, getting fit, etc. Practical tips to adopt in one's everyday life. As your feet are made for walking. That's my famous saying, your feet are made for walking. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the travelators, the lifts, the escalators, and we tend to use them a lot more. I am saying to you, no, don't use the travelators, the escalators, the elevators. You are supposed to be doing things so that your body is moving. Your feet were made for walking. Avoid, so when you go out shopping or wherever, and you're going just half a mile down the road or a quarter of a mile down the road, please don't drive the car. Walk. Go out in the fresh air. If it's cold, then you wrap yourself up and you walk. The walking is good for you. And you're getting all that fresh air inside your lungs. When you go to the supermarket, number 3, park the car way down yonder, not at the supermarket entrance, which most people do. And when they're going to the supermarket, they plunk themselves on the travelator or the escalator or use the lift or elevator. Now I ask you, do you have a travelator at your home? Do you have a lift at your home? Do you have an elevator or escalator at your home? The answer to that is 99% of us don't, unless you live in an apartment or flat, okay? So I'm saying to you, instead of going on those mechanical devices that are in the supermarket, the steps or stairs are right next to it. Use them. I stand up there and watch, and 90% of people in supermarkets, first of all, they park right outside the entrance, and when they're going, they plunk themselves on the travelator or the elevator or escalator and go up the stairs. Your feet were made for walking. Try and adopt that as your motto. That's why you were given feet, okay? The next one is the school runs. Some of you have children or grandchildren or take the neighbors to school, and you pack 3, 4, 5 kids in a car to go half a mile down the road. Some of us who are from the Caribbean and Africa and Asia, we had to walk 2 miles to school in the hot boiling sun and 2 miles home again. So this issue of putting the car, that is why the children are so unfit, because they are so used to Monday to Friday being taken to school on a school run in a car, 5, 6 kids packed in a car. Get into the habit of getting an adult, walking with them, talking as you're walking along, exchanging ideas, and going to school. More than stressing yourself out on a school run. The driver is there stressed as ever, and the kids are in the back of the car getting naughty and rude. Let them all walk to school and walk back home. It's good for them. It's good for the environment as well. That's less pollution in the air for them to breathe in. That's the aim of the school run. Try and cut down on the school run. Come off the bus. You're going somewhere and you know where you're going. Come off at the bus. The stop. These are practical tips. The stop before or the stop after, and do some walking. If you haven't been able to do any walking all day, the fact that you took the bus to get to your destination, the stop before or the stop after, and then you walk to where you're going, and the same coming back. I always ask this question when I'm out there in the public arena doing this. How many people were born in a motor car? And in the 12 and a half years that I've been doing this, 2 people have put up their hands and said to me, yes. I said, really? No, they were born in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. So I forgive those 2 people. Car is a modern day luxury, and it's not necessarily a necessity. Use your feet to go from point A to point B and leave the car at home. You'll feel so much better from doing that. Next slide, please. Form a walking club in your neighborhood. So Sonny and Aish and Tony and whoever else, we form a walking club. I knock on Aish's door and say, hey, we're going walking. And she gets herself ready. But Dr. Sonny, he's there saying, oh, we had a headache or we had a curry last night, and trying to make every excuse. But we motivate him and say, no, you have to come because we have to pick up other people on the way. Don't walk on flat surfaces. You will get no benefits from walking on flat surfaces. And Britain has enough gradients, hills, and steep inclines for you to find. Clent Hills, Lickey Hills, Malvern Hills, all over the place. And whichever country you are, find those steep inclines and walk up them. And then the slow walkers who can't catch up with you, you agree to meet them at a certain station along the way. So you go ahead. You talk about the weather, you talk about President number 46, and you talk about the Prime Minister of Britain, and you talk about your children and your grandchildren. You do that 2 or 3 times a week as a group, egging and gelling each other on and motivating each other. You suddenly see how fitter you become, and the weight starts to come, especially off around the midriff section, which is where we tend to put on weight as we go. So as I said, don't walk on flat surfaces. No benefit from that, please. None of the above, as I say, is rocket science, but certainly a common sense approach. And the more we do that, the better. Bring that down for me, please. We've done, if you keep pressing and then they will come down. You've gone to, no, you've got, this is the one you should be on. Pop fizzy drink, cut out. When you press on it, doesn't it bring down? Unless he didn't put them in there. Click again, Aish. Let me see what comes up.
No,
That's all that's on it.
It's not there. It's not there.
Huh? It's not there. He left them out. Simply put, that slide was saying that before we go to the next slide, that slide was saying you need to cut down on the aerated water and the carbonated water and the fizzy drink and the pop. Drink more plain water. I know some people like to go for sparkling water. Believe you me, even sparkling water or fizzy water, you will pile on the pounds from drinking that because they've put chemicals in it to make it fizzy and sparkling. Yeah. And when the rain falls from the sky, I've never seen it sparkling or fizzy in my life. So I am saying to everybody, go for plain, still water. And the aim of that is the kidneys. The more water you drink, it flushes out the toxins and poisons from the kidneys. And older people in particular become dehydrated because they do not drink enough water. So older folk, yes, it can be tea if so be it, but you have to get into the habit. And some people say, Tony, we can't drink all this water. There is water in watermelon, cantaloupe, grape, oranges, satsumas. So bring into your diet the whole issue of fruits. Most fruits contain water in them, but try to drink as much water as possible so that your urine then is a lovely pale yellow color and does not have a stench to it. That's the important thing, because the toxins and impurities and poisons in the system, that's the aim of the kidney, to flush them out. Okay, so this is the next slide. Do physical activity with others. Instead of trying to do it on your own, have others in the group with you, because the whole socialization process, which is why I'm not too happy on this issue of everybody now working from home. People need to be in a work environment, in an office or wherever, so they're socializing and interacting with each other. And they're beginning to realize, studies are going to show the ones who are working from home all the time in front of their computer and not engaging with anybody, they're going to lose some of their social skills. The importance of being in an office and sharing and laughing and joking and crying and hugging each other and being tactile and so on, you can't lose sight of that. And COVID-19 has a lot to say in that regard. Going on the bus and interacting with people on the train or whatever, you're walking to work and so on. But more importantly, you must have days off from doing activity. You cannot be doing physical activity every single day. Your body needs time to recover. So you will work one day, then have a rest day, work another day, all the physical activity, movement and so on, but must have rest days in between to recover. Don't go flat out. Some people like to think, oh, it's a sprint, so I'm just going to go flat out. No, no, no. It's a slow build-up process, especially if you haven't done it for years, and suddenly it can be a toll on your heart. So you have to pace yourself when you're taking on a new physical activity. It's not a sprint, as it said, so you're not doing 100 meters like Usain Bolt. It's more like a marathon. This is, you're doing it for the long term, short and medium and long term aims. So slowly, gradually build up as you go along. Because if you do it too quickly, you're going to be out of breath and you're going to be tired and you're just going to give up straight away. Vary the activities you do. So one day you might do acrobics, one day you might do sit-ups and press-ups. Next day you're going to do another form. Don't do the same thing over and over again, because that's when I used to do that. And after a while it became very boring. And I said, I can't be doing this anymore. And I would stop. So vary, decide what you're going to do each time you're going out there, and vary. So you have diversity in it. Stretch bands. I don't know if you'll be able to see these, or probably at the end when we're coming up for questions, I'll bring these. I have these and I wear them around my arm and around my thighs and so on. And I use them you have different strength ones. So depending on what your strength is and building up your core muscles and so on, you use these. I use these a lot in Pilates and yoga as well. You get these at most of the stores now, the Amazon and so on. I invest in stretch bands and would ask you to do the same. Elastic or stretch bands. Another thing I'm going to show you is the hand gripper. I went to an event in London last year. Dr. Patricia Smith has an annual event at the University of East London. And she had a chap come there and he spoke about people who are bedridden and the fact that they don't get enough physical activity. And he brought out this thing. He did a study, and it is a digital hand dynamometer. I bought one because people who are bedridden or people who can't get up and do a lot, all he was doing, you put it in and put the batteries in and so on. At the end, you'll be able to see it better. All he was doing was showing how if they were using that and pulling on it, this hand gripper, that was giving them so much strength and so much burning of the calories from the muscles that are in the arm and which would go around the body. So I would ask and invite you to invest in a hand gripper, even if you don't want to go out there and do the treadmill and the bike ride and so on. In the comfort of your home, this hand dexter or hand gripper is very good. Squeeze the balls. I brought 3 with me. Squeeze the balls. When you're stressed in the car and you're in traffic, or even at the comfort of in your home, have your squeezy balls and keep squeezing on them. It is a means of getting rid of all of that built-in stress. Believe you me, it is very productive if you do that. You'll soon see the results, the squeezy ball. It's sort of similar to the popping thing that I told you about earlier. Invest in a stationary bike, exercise bike. There's one right next to me. Myself and my wife take it in turns. It's a wet, miserable, cold day. We just get on the bike and we set it to whatever level we want. And we just bike ride right there. And sometimes I put on my music, my headphones to listen to the music while I'm doing. Invest in a bike. There's several on the market. Some are much better than others, but I would say that's a good thing to go by. Then also soothing music in the background helps to make aid relaxation. Some people like to have foot massages, face massages, or full body massages. They come highly recommended. I remember when our daughter was getting married, she said, Dad, I want you to have a face massage. And I said, well, men don't do those sorts of things. And I went and had a face massage. And it's the most relaxing thing one could ever have. So I imagine the same would be if you have the foot massage or a full body massage. Responsible adults, as we are listening on this program, need to get the kids away from the iPad, the electronic gadgets, the PlayStation, the Games Boy, the mobile phone. We have become allowing them to have, I was in a restaurant in Jamaica where 2 mom and dad were with their 2 grown-up sons. And for the whole time during the meal, those 2 sons, they were probably in their 20s. All they did was looking at their mobile phone and playing on the mobile phone. That wouldn't happen in our household. You go out to a restaurant, it spoils the art of conversation. And we as adults need to have a cutoff point and say, no, Johnny, no, Sue, you need to put that away. And take it from them if they're not hearing you. Something's gone from my screen. So it has to be a cutoff point. Then the next slide, please. Health checks. it is of paramount importance that before you start any rigorous physical activity, you go and consult your GP to make sure you're able to do so, to make sure that your pulse is okay, your heart rate is okay, your blood pressure, everything about you is okay. Because if you just start doing it without getting a proper health check, disaster can happen. You can end up having a heart attack or a stroke or what have you. So that's the essence of what I'm saying within this as well. Don't just suddenly say, right, Tony Kelly say I'm just going to move mental and physical activity. I'm going to start tomorrow. No, go and get a health check done. Because especially if you get your heart examined and other parts of your body, the doctor might say, well, you need to do this very slowly because I don't like how your heart is sounding or your lungs are sounding or what have you. Next slide, please. And that brings me to the end where we can now open it up for any questions that you'd like to ask. There was something else. Can you bring it up so I can show another thing that I use? Aish? Are people seeing me?
Hold on.
Yes.
If you can, yeah, maybe you stop sharing so that people can, Tony
Okay.
can actually show. Yeah.
Right. So am I being seen now?
Yep.
Right. So apart from the squeezy balls that I mentioned, which you can use for stress, I also have this one. This is a much tougher ball. But what I use this one for is for the soles of my feet. So I try and stand on it and it helps to circulate the blood around. I only have one and I put it on one foot and it's a ball and you roll it on your feet and so on. These you can get at most places now. And these are sorts of things I urge people, the simple, effective methods. And another one I forgot to show you was this one. I got these from Amazon. I have 3 of them because I need to make sure that the grip in my fingers is okay. So I strengthen them out, I pull them out and I pull them in. I do all sorts of things. I have a green one, a red one, and a yellow one. These are things that you can use because older you get, the grip tends to go. So some older people find it hard to open up the can or the bottle or the what have you, because they've lost all that dexterity and that muscle in their hands and fingers. So to strengthen it, these are simple things, and these didn't cost a lot. And those are sort of some of the practical things that I've been doing for the last 12 and a half years, making sure, plus all the swimming and the acrobics and the Zumba and so on, making sure I'm constantly on the go, constantly moving. I remember during COVID-19, and then I'll take questions. At the end of COVID-19, the GP at the surgery that I'm at, she wanted to see everybody. And she was able to tell me some of her patients put on 2 stone, 3 stone, 4 stone. She could hardly recognize them because they were at home, getting depressed and comfort eating, not making any effort. Remember, the authorities were allowing us to go out once a day to do some physical activity. They weren't even doing that. I was still going for my walks and going this and doing that and climbing the stairs, taking turns in my, I kept myself busy and active and moving. And that's the essence of what this Healthier, Fitter 2025 is all about. And I'll end there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tony. It was a wonderful presentation. Yes. Anybody who would like to comment? Dr. Sunny, would you like to make a comment, please?
Yes. Yeah, I think we're very, very grateful for Tony for handling that particular. You remember what the topic for those of you who were invited today was all about: what you need to know to be fitter, to be healthier, and more active. I think Dr. Tony has actually demonstrated that to us. See, what we need to do is all about our overall well-being. And how do we achieve that? So we need to be moving.
Moving. Keep moving. Keep moving.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Physical activity. I like that because people always say you need to exercise. Say no, don't go for exercise. Physical activity.
Now, somebody has put in the chat, brain exercise, please, question mark, thanks very much. Let me tell you my issue with the brain. Doctors have explained to me, in order to ward off senility, Alzheimer's, and dementia, we need to eat more oily fish. Oily fish is very good for the brain. I don't know about any exercise for the brain. I'm telling you what the doctors have said to get across to people. Sardine, herring, mackerel, salmon, all, and excuse me, Tony Kelly is not talking the oily fish at the fish and chip shop. That is 3 times a year. I am talking the sardine, the tuna, the herring, the mackerel. Those fishes, with all of that oil in them, they do something, they stimulate the brain, and that helps to ward off Alzheimer's, dementia, and senility. So please start. One woman, I did one last week in Handsworth, and she says her cupboard is packed with sardines and she doesn't use them. But she said, as of now, I am going to be using them on a daily basis.
Isn't that amazing? Tony, while you were speaking, I was taking them some notes, right? Because this is the way I remind myself. This particular program, every Wednesday, different topics, is all about your health and wellness overall. The School of Bio-Natural Medicine, we are not against allopathic intervention, meaning Western-based intervention. We're not against Chinese acupuncture. We're not against Ayurvedic intervention. We are an integrative platform and that enable people to explore different choices in terms of what you can do and what you can apply to your own health. Health is very important. And as Tony mentioned, particularly we men, we tend to move away from it and we refuse to consult the right practitioner.
Well, we leave it too late.
Or we leave it too late.
Way too late.
We have our clinics with our doctors are highly strict. You can fill in any of the information confidentially using our inquiry form. In terms of what you've heard today, or if you have anything that you wish to discuss with somebody confidentially, with a medical qualified, certified professional who can actually help you. This is what we do every single week. And we've been doing this now for the last 10 years or so. Why do we do this? Well, it's so important because our body is complex. And as one of my doctor friends said, is that it's the most wonderful machine in the universe, our body. Just imagine how we grow. We don't have any roots like trees. And do you know, our small intestine alone is over 12 feet long. Can you imagine this? Where does it fit into? In our body. Our heart, for a whole day, could go around, pump blood, oxygen, and other vitals, molecule, over 100,000 times a day. Isn't that incredible? This is what our system is all about. And hence the reason why we invite, nobody have paid a single dime on this particular platform. And Tony and all the other medical practitioners who have been coming, that all of you have been seeing, they're doing it for the love of people. And this is one way for us to contribute.
I see 2 questions which I would like to answer, which come in the chat. One is from C. Richards, who is saying, if you're already on diabetes and high blood pressure, I presume if you're already on those tablets, is it possible to reverse these conditions? Now, that discussion he or she has to have that with their medical, because I don't know the medical history of this person. They have to have a discussion, sit down with their GP and their diabetic nurse if they have one, and a nutritionist if they have one, or whoever at the surgery, and say, this is where I'm at, and this is where I want to be in 2025. So I can't give you a definitive answer about whether you can reverse those conditions, because I don't know. Some people have been able to, with a disciplined lifestyle. Don't get me wrong, some people have been able, because I had a chap, I saw him a few years ago, and he says, Tony, mention my name every time, mention it. I went to do an event in Handsworth a few years ago, and it was on New Year's Eve. And he said, the fact that you took your time out of your busy schedule to come to talk to us, I took a leaf out of your book. And he started going swimming and cycling. And he went back to see his GP after 3 months. And the GP was insisting, those bloods can't be yours, Ben Cunningham. They can't be yours. And he said, what have you done? He said, I met a man named Tony Kelly. And when he says jump, you say, how high? And the doctor took him at the time off the drug metformin, because he had managed to do all the things from physical activity, which made him such a better person. So in fairness, on occasion, C. Richards and others listening, drugs can sometimes mask the underlying health problems. So it's about enabling and empowering the patient. Don't sit down just relying on, oh, I'm going to take this pill and this pill and this pill and so on. Thy man help thyself, or thy woman help thyself. You need to think, what can I do to enable and empower myself in the process, so that I don't sit down here relying on big pharma, Medicaid. Some people, don't get me wrong, have to be on medication, but not everybody. So you have to decide what's best for you. Have the discussion. Make sure you're going for your reviews when you're called into, because most men don't keep their appointments. That's the issue. Dragging and screaming, get your men folk to go and get their checkups done. Just yesterday on the news, it said prostate cancer has now overtaken all the other cancers in terms of, and that's men. So I talk a lot about that when I do my events out there. 1 in 4 Black men, I don't have the stats in front of me, but it's in my bag. 1 in 4 Black men will get prostate cancer. 1 in 8 white men. Why don't we wake up and smell the coffee and go and get our checks done? All it is to start with is a PSA, a bit of blood, take it from your arm, sent to the lab to see whether it's elevated. It might not be prostate cancer. It might be prostatitis, which is an infection, or it might be an enlarged prostate. So this macho manly image of, no, I'm not going to go there. Come on, you have partners, you have uncles, you have fathers, you have brothers. Take them kicking and screaming to go get themselves examined once they reach the age of 40. And as for Black men, they're top of the tree. They need to go even sooner, I would suggest. And don't let anybody put you off, because I've been to events where people say, oh, my doctor look at me and say, I'm all right. I say, ask your doctor, does he or she have X-ray vision to know what's going on in your body? And I leave that with them, and they say, Tony, I'm going to go back and tell him that. The other person said, Tony, what would you recommend for mental health issues, anxiety issues? Now, there again, you need to, because I don't know the full state of your mental health issues and anxiety issues and what have you. You need to go sit down with a therapist, with a GP, and the GP might say, okay, I'm going to recommend you for cognitive behavior therapy, or to see a psychiatrist or psychologist. Over here, this issue of psychiatrists, people think, oh, they must be going mad. What? Everybody in America have them shrink, have them psychiatrists. So I don't know what the big deal is. Your mental health goes along with your physical health. So you need to, that person who asked that question, you need to go, if you're suffering from anxiety or depression or mental issues or so on, you need to go and sit down. And don't be fobbed up by anybody who is saying, oh, no, it's mind over matter and so on. You need to insist and be assertive. And if you're going to see your GP, my advice is don't go on your own. Take another pair of eyes or ears with you, an advocate, a mediator who is there. Even me, and I can chat for Britain. I don't go and see my GP on my own. I take somebody with me. I don't wear these clothes, so they don't know who I am, because there's about 8 or 9 GPs at the surgery. And once I start, and they say, well, you sound as if you're medically qualified, and said, no, I'm not, but I do know about my condition, and nobody knows your body better than you do. That's the starting point.
Yep. That's very, very true. Even the doctors, we don't know our body. Or that doctor had to explain exactly what is actually happening. Like I said before, our platform is not a consultation platform. When we are doing this particular presentation, the presentation is for education, just for you to know what is actually happening. If you like to know deep down in terms of what are the main condition you want to come for a consultation, right here on the screen, we have the inquiry form. You fill it in confidentially, and one of us will come back to you and signpost you either back to your GP, or if we have a GP on the particular platform, because sometimes, yeah, your GP can be very annoying, and they can give you a time scale that can give you 12 to 20 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it is. The referral can be very, very slow. But if you want to see a GP as early as next week, we have other alternative qualified GPs across the whole of UK that can actually do that with you, for you in the process. Yes, go for proper consultation.
Yes, I agree with that, because
No DIY.
Yes, somebody just asked me recommendations for acute shortness of breath. I can't tell you the answers to that, because remember, I'm not my health disclaimer at the beginning, I'm not medically qualified. Again, I'm signposting you back to your GP, who will examine you. I've just, for the first time ever, I had a shortness of breath over the last 2 weeks and developed and I thought, oh my God, I'm getting bronchitis or asthma. So I had to go and see the GP. And it was so bad, because I couldn't sleep at night, they actually put me on antibiotics for the first time ever in my life. And it's cleared now, and they say it will take about 2-3 months for the cold or whatever. But it was so bad that I had to have a course of antibiotics, which I've never had before. So there are all these bugs and viruses and whatnot going around. And clearly I picked it up from somewhere, which is why I'm coughing slightly a bit in between talking to you. But the shortness of breath issue, you need to go back and see your GP, sit down and have a proper discussion with him or her as to what is going to happen or what's not going to happen. And if it's such that you're really struggling and the appointment isn't until May, you're going to have to probably go back to the GP and say before then. May is far. We're just in January. Huh?
Yes. I think
you got to be assertive, please.
So, if I can just help that, I think I recognize that's Bridget, right? Bridget, yes. Please complete our inquiry form, and we will get you a GP that can help you through the process. We have a lot of NHS GP that we're working with that can give you a speedy overnight, within a week appointment, and look into your own case, rather than you're not jumping the queue, but that just a system that we have. Right, Bridget? Yes, it is, Bridget. Thank you. Yeah, Bridget, yeah, thank you for the correction as well, for the invite. And that one is on the way. So what you need to do, complete that application form, and you also have my direct number as well. We can organize an appointment for you as early as next week with your respiratory condition. So this is the purpose why we are here. We are here to provide speedy, professional, qualified, certified professional that can help you. And after this particular presentation, we're going to take about 5 minutes. Then we will show you some of the products, proven product that we have, supported by different universities that have been clinically researched, that can help you in any medical condition you may be in. Isn't that amazing? So stay tuned to the second part of this particular presentation, product that can deal with most of the autoimmune condition. As one of my doctor partners said, he said, the medical practitioner are managing diseases, but we are managing and looking after health. So at that point in time, we're going to take about 5 minutes break. And when we come back, we will showcase some of the product that we have, and you will have more time to ask questions and answers. So take a coffee break right now, and we're very grateful for Dr. Tony Kelly. I know he doesn't want me to put the doctor, but I'll still put it anyway, as a matter of the accolade that he received, that honorary doctorate with Warwick University. That's not a fish and chip or rice and peas university, as you all well know, in the process. So the platform will be coming to a short close. Take your breath, take your tea, and take what I called, Tony mentioned it earlier, I call it the liquid of the sky, not the man-made liquid of any, not adulterated water, but pure water to hydrate. And that's exactly what I have in my cup here.
I'm going to go get mine. I'll be back in 5.
See you back in 5
Okay.
minutes. So the music will be back on, and I hope you are enjoying yourself. You're benefiting from the whole information that is being disseminated this evening. Stay tuned. See you back shortly. Welcome back to our second version, the second chapter of today's presentation. I'm sure you benefited enormously from Tony Kelly's presentation about your overall health and wellness. Yeah, our School of Bio-Natural Community, School of Bio-Natural Medicine, our focus is to help you to promote what is called integrative healthcare. What that means is a holistic, it's an overall well-being of the human race, mentally, physically, physiologically, atomically, whatever name you want to use in the process. This is what we do from time to time. This is what we do from day to day. This is what we do every single minute in terms of what we do at School of Bio-Natural Medicine. The history started just about 2011 when I took my son at the age of 5 at the time. I took him to A&E, Sidcup, and we were there waiting for a doctor for about, guess what, over 10 hours. At that very moment, I was saying to myself, why, as we live in a technologically advanced world, why should we need to go to a physical location for us to go and see a healthcare practitioner? Why can we not do some of these remotely? And this is how we came up with doctor in your pocket and hospital in your home, creating and developing a BIPI, which is a bio-natural, innovative, preventative, and indicative technology. Technology is indicative. So wherever you are, you're able to consult with a healthcare practitioner. And the technology will be able to bring out some of the indication that we can accelerate to a qualified GP or any other consultant to interpret and give you a respite, give you some hope so that you don't have to wait for 3 months, for 9 months. I think it was Bridget who mentioned earlier that she has to wait till May. Can you imagine that? How can you be waiting till May? Things could have actually aggravated, get worsened in the process. As the saying goes, when you intervene early, you can save a lot. Stitching time saves 9. That's what the saying is. So we are like that stitching time here on this particular platform to be able to support all the medical practitioners around the globe, and more importantly, the over 8 billion people on the planet. So at the press of a button, they can receive some help. The hope is on site in a process. That's what this particular platform is designed to do. And week in, week out, non-stop, whether it is rainy, whether it is sunshine, we're also providing valuable information about your body, how your body functions. And Tony is actually one of our regular presenters. Tony has been presenting for us right now, I think about 4 or 5 years now, right? That's how long it had been. And it's not easy just to get hold of Tony because he's in demand all the time. And today we're very grateful. Next week, we're going to have Dr. Chooks, and the following week, he's just going different doctor dealing with different things like all the topic that we discuss on this particular platform relating to diabetes, which you've heard today. We have menopause, we have andropause. That's the male version of women menopause, because people don't actually pay attention to the male situation. In fact, I was on a research group at Cambridge University a few months ago. Then I said, nobody actually talks about men, what it is. It's not actually appearing on the screen of the TV. So our platform is to balance these discrepancies, that actually the disparity that's actually taking place between men and women, because a lot of men are suffering in silence, and some of them do not have that motivation as women do to go and seek some medical help. So if you know a father, if you know a brother, a husband that hasn't consulted his or her GP for a very long time, we had a platform available for you. Yes, you can access a doctor with any of the imbalances at any point in time within a press of a button. That's the reality of it. So we are bringing within to yourself medical practitioner at the comfort of any location you're in. Doesn't matter whether you're in Egypt, whether you're in Moscow, or whether you're in London, anywhere you are, at least there should be an intervention. Someone somehow with the age of technology able to see and evaluate firsthand using the capability of quantum advanced technology in terms of what your body is all about. We also have a lot of products. We're working with many manufacturer of quality, high intensity product. One of them is this with power potential from one of our partners, ICEA. ICEA had developed this particular product with the help of many universities around the globe in terms of what this product does. This is what one of my doctors actually written, right? There's a typo in there, but don't worry about the typo. It's a message that is important. He said, when breakthroughs happen, so do miracles. Yes, this product has the ability to optimize, bring your immune system to a balance, and in medical terms, it's called homeostasis state. Some of you may have remembered during the time of COVID, they said, look, once you take the jab, your immune system will go up and you're able to withstand that invasion of that deadly disease, the COVID-19, wasn't it? That's the promise we were given. But it's another debate right now to say whether it actually does what they promise. But this is one of those products that can actually optimize your immune system. If you optimize your immune system, your body becomes into a balanced state. And once your body is balanced, as my hands are right now, then you're able to reduce inflammatory condition, cardiovascular, which claims around about a third of all deaths that happens every single year globally. About 70 million people die every single year, and a third of that due to cardiovascular health. This product provides support. The product is not medicine. It doesn't have any steroid. It does not have it. It's simply based or copy around what your body is already making use of: water and salt. Water and salt, combined combination, sodium chloride and H2O, they contain about 75 to 80% of the body constitution. So this product is actually native to the body. The body can withstand it. You also support your enzyme production. People talk about prebiotics, probiotic, all the rest of that. So the body has every single constitutions of fat body. People always say to me, what's the difference between this readout signaling molecule supplement compared to all the other supplements? Well, this is the analogy I normally use. All the other supplements are very good. The aloe vera, the juices, this, all of them, they're all very good. But the fundamental difference is this particular product, they are all different. Can liken them to the doors. There are 10 doors. And when you have those 10 doors, they'll have their own separate keys to be able to gain entrance. Right. But there's always a master key that can do the job for every single door. Correct? That's what this product is. The product is not medicinal. It's not medicine. It's simply created around the body itself to work with your cells. We have about 70, 80 trillion cells in our body. Right. 80 trillions, 70 trillion, 60 trillions. That's quite a lot of cells in our body. As we grow, these cells, as we're born, they're able to replicate themselves. They renew themselves very, very speedily. But what happens after 10 years, 12 years, 15 years? Our body begin to replace this cell at a slower pace. And what is happening now? There's what is called cellular degeneration taking place. The body is no longer able to produce and replace those cells. Hence, we get sick. Hence, we get affected in different parts of the body. We can be attacked by free radicals in a process. Our body is unable to produce the galactolin which is a powerhouse of all our cells in a process. And some of these cells that died in our body, what happened? They create what is called blockages. They block our arteries, they block all these parts. So you could be using any of those supplements, all the other supplement we just mentioned earlier, but they're not able to get into the cellular temple of the body. They're not able to penetrate and allow all your molecules to work to their full capacity. So the body begins to deteriorate and retard its own performance. This is what happens. But what the readers actually does is able to get into all of that and bring about detoxification, can detoxify your whole body, reduces the whole debris in the system, flush them out into the system of our the digestive system, and bring them out as a waste product in a process. What then happens at that point in time? It frees up your body, and the dead cells are removed. The damaged one can be repaired so that they can work to their full capacity. Isn't that incredible? This is what this product does. The product has been around for the last almost 20 years, and a lot of clinical research that have been written about this. Over 40,000 peer review within the medical journals. Although it's not a medical product, it is a wellness product. It's considered to be a full supplement. The product is completely native to the body, just like your water and salt. Exactly the same. Proven clinically safe with zero toxicity. Isn't that amazing? And this product had done a lot for me, myself. I can give you my own story. 2019, 18th of February, I had an accident and my car was a write-off because I was shaking in that. And I don't drive a very small car, very big car, right? So the accident is so bad that I had my back And I went for physio many, about 2-3 years I was in physio, and they couldn't fix it because from time to time, I have what is called a recurring pain that follows suit on a regular basis. But I was introduced to this product through one of my doctor's friends, and I'll have to go for a conference in Budapest. So there's going to be a conference next week. So on the 24th of February, I was in Budapest in a conference. And I was introduced to the product. I said, yes, this could be very good for me and my clients around the globe and their loved ones. So I embark on the journey. You just cannot imagine. Within 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, I consider discernible and remarkable difference between the way I work, the way I do things. My energy level goes up. Well, if you're saying that that is placebo, well, if it's placebo, let's apply. Let's use it more regularly so that it can help so many people. Well, placebo cannot just happen to, tens and millions of people around the globe that are actually applying this particular product within their own medical condition. And one of my doctor friends was actually telling me about 3 weeks ago that when you are on medication and you're taking this Acea Redox, it actually works better and faster. You know why? Because your cells are a lot more responsive. They are more agile. Because scientifically it's been proven that the reason why we're sick is because our cells are suffering. They're not able to work to their own full capacity. So for our body to be diseased is due to our cellular ability to communicate and to work to their full capacity. So to bring the body to a homeostatic state, then you need to feed it with the right nutrient. You need to give it a master key that clear out the pathways and enable all the other nutrients to go through. Your water, even the medication you're taking, and all the other substances that goes into our body. If our body is healthy, then you have a healthy living. If your cells are healthy, then you have a healthy cell. Now, some of you may have heard of this story, and I had experienced it myself. Somebody is in their 30s, but their cellular age is like 50, 60. Or conversely, somebody is in their 70, but their cellular age is reading 30, which means they have more vitality. Their body is working more functionally, regularly, optimally, more than their physical age. Isn't that amazing? This is what this product does. Let me just show you some example or a case study, true case study of Amendra. Amendra was in the hospital suffering from bullous purpura. This is an autoimmune condition that this lady was suffering from many, many years, many, many months. And the doctor at the last stage of it, they say, go home and just go and die, basically. That was the message. Then one of our entrepreneurs knew this particular lady, heard about it, went to the hospital where she was, from the conference head, through a friend. We took the Acea product, this one and the gel. Yeah, you're going to see the gel in a moment. And she was drinking it and she was taking the gel. The same woman that you've seen, after 6 days, this is what happens. After 19 days, this is the same woman. Can you imagine what has happened here? A miracle. Same woman, waterlogged into the whole system. Look at what happens. Can you imagine what? Do you know anyone who is suffering today from any medical condition issues? Yes, our doctors can help. Even at a speedy rate. You don't have to wait till May, Bridget. We can actually start the intervention right now, today or tomorrow. And again, to hear more as far as this product is concerned, you simply just complete the application form for inquiry and just put more information about the redox signaling molecule. We can talk you through it, do a consultation with a professional. Then if that's a way you want to go into, then you simply do it. Remember, at School of BioNatural, we are an integrative health platform. We're not against any sort of intervention. People always say, oh yeah, the doctors, they're not good. They give you chemicals, they do you this. But let me tell you one thing. The allopathic practice, which is based on Western-based medicine, has a lot of contribution it has made to human understanding human conditions and diseases. Without the allopathic intervention, the research base, the diagnosis and so forth, we will not have actually got to the point that we're in today with other alternative like Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic. They have not done as much research that the Western-based medicine had done. We've been able to understand our body, the complexities and everything else. But what it is not very good at, the Western-based intervention, easy treatment. That's the poor side of it. And hence, somebody might opt for what they call the alternative, but I call that the real medicine in my books. Right? They're not alternative. Allopathic is not alternative. Ayurvedic intervention is not alternative. Chinese acupuncture is not alternative. They are all part of the contributory ways of looking into after health. In fact, Tony had just given me all of you prescription this evening, as you know. Yeah. This is in medicine, there's also what is called talk therapy. Just lifestyle changes. This could have enormous amount of impact in your own health in the process. Talk therapy. It refrain you from taking your drugs, your steroid. Yes, there are a lot of side effects, but we're not going to be focusing on the side effect of allopathy. Let's focus on the different contribution that they made. In Jamaica, Tony will tell you this one, that one hand can't clap, right? No matter how much you try, right? Whether faster or slower, that one hand cannot clap on its own. But when you bring the other hand, guess what happens now? Okay? You try in the comfort of wherever you are, at home, in the car, you can see that there's sound, there's effect, and there's a causes effect. So when we bring all together, all these interventional approaches, which is what this School of BioNatural is all about, is providing education, information. Then we can bring health and wellness closer to your own grasp in the comfort of any location you're in. That's the reason why we're doing this. And that's why we are not charging for this particular platform. For those of you, yes, who wish to undertake a further consultative measure, we are here, we're ready. Complete the application form. One of us will revert to you and signpost you to the right qualified professionals, and even to order the product that we have just shown on, if that's what you feel is going to be. A lot of doctors at the moment around the globe, over 6,000 doctors that ASEA has got on their board, who are actually using it in their practice, in addition to any other form of intervention. Remember what it is? It is a supplement that enables the cells of your body to be strengthened, making your cells stronger, bolder, an ability to withstand any sort of medical conditions. It doesn't matter what the medical condition is. Somebody asked me the other day, said, does it cure cancer? I said, no. This product is not about curing anything. The product doesn't cure anything. As any of the other medication you may have taken from the chemo and all rest of them, none of them cure anything. What those medicines are designed to do is to enable the body to facilitate resilience. That's what the drugs you are taking, everything else, is designed to do. No drug cures any disease. They only need to allow the body to be able to function to its optimum performance. Just imagine you know, there's a lot of rainfall right now. If you see a gutter that is clustered with debris and all rest of them, how flow do you think the water will become? There'll be a lot of hindrance for that flow to go into the sea. Same way with our body. Our body needs to be free up with all the debris, with all the toxins that we gather from the food we eat, from the environment we live. Some of you who live in London, I mean, it's the equivalent, is likened to smoking about 20 sticks of cigarette every single day from pollution. And the body reacts to all of this. So what some of these products that we just have is to enable your body, detoxifies this, your whole system, so that your body can perform to a balanced state. Dr. Patrice from one of our doctors who is actually presenting said, everything is all about balancing. Once your body is balanced, then your body will perform. So rather than you asking, is it cure cancer? Is it cure this? Well, one of my doctor's friend, Dr. Dick, yeah, that's his name, Dr. Dick Walker, he says that the whole essence of medicine is all about cellular communication. It's all about cellular wellness. He said it doesn't matter what disease it is. If your cells are strong enough, they have the ability and the capability of fighting any medical adversity. Isn't that incredible? Wow. That's what it's all about. Fortify your immune system. I mean, with what Tony was discussing with us earlier, can you imagine when you take those gentle exercises, when you take that lifestyle changes, what does that do to your body? You reduce the level of alcohol you consume, too much, fast food. All of that all contribute to the wellness and healthy part of your body. Remember the Tony slogan, live healthier, right? And live fitter. And live, right? The other one, what was the other one? Did you remember it? Live healthier, live fitter. Can somebody shout out the other one? Can you not hear me now?
We can hear you.
Very good. Right, Ash, what was the third one? Fitter, healthier. Doesn't matter. You can look back to your note, to the invite, and display it on the system. I want you to display on the
active.
system that
Yeah.
invite that we actually sent out, what Tony was talking about this evening. And this is part of allowing your cells to be able to perform to the absolute optimum position. Stay tuned, see exactly what Tony was giving us earlier.
Active you.
Active use. Yeah, great to see you here, Bridget. Right. Can you see that's the invitation majority of you actually received, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
It said, our topic for this week is Step into 2025, your path to a fitter, healthier, and more active you. Isn't that amazing? And Tony discussed some of the other aspects, and diabetes is one of those. If I can just share some story with you relating to this product I've just mentioned. I had a guy at a conference. He's one of my Irish brothers, actually. And I said to him, Peter, his name is Peter, I said, how long have you been participating and drinking this particular ICEA redox molecule? He looked at me, he said, Sonny, I've come a long way. He said, I used to have injection, about 2-3 injections every single day, suffering from type 1 diabetes. That's a serious case. Your body, your pancreas is unable to process anything, and the sugar level is just, and this could happen even at the age of 0, when you were just being born. And no medical explanation, no doctor up to today could tell you the causal factor of type 1 diabetes. And we know the case of type 2, yeah, lifestyle could contribute to it, or we can change, or sedentary, situation. That's why you see a lot of bus drivers, lorry driver, they are really obese. It's not because it's their situation, but because there is no flow of and little exercises. And this is what Tony was encouraging us to do earlier, so that our cells can react and can promote our body health and wellness. Now, he said for the last 6 years, he's been taking this ICEA supplement, the Redox. He said the last time, this was last year, 2024, he said the last time he went to see his doctor, which was around about 6 months earlier, he said his condition has improved by 60% gradually over the years. 60%, type 1, we're not talking about type 2. Right? I also have the indication of type 2 diabetes myself, until I started taking the ICEA Redox. This is all about my own experience, right? Tony mentioned TTT earlier, toilet, tiredness, and thirsty, and the rest of it. Sometime now, I sleep for a whole night without actually waking up until the following morning. Isn't that incredible? I have bad eyesight, really, really bad. Glaucoma, because it's in the family. But since I've been taking the water myself, drinking it, spraying it, and in fact, even sometimes when I'm so tired, I haven't got my spray bottle here. It clears out, it gives me a lot of energies and so forth. So with different people, they work very differently, just the same way the allopathic interventions. So what are we saying here? Well, there are solutions. You just need to explore them and come up with different possibilities and opportunities. And on this particular platform, there might be other people, if they're really willing and able to say, okay, look, let me give my own testimonial. We're not here to start inducing testimonial from anyone, but the references and all the other condition that this supplement has been able to address in many, many quantities and for many, many days. So today, what is your takeaway? What is the take home? Well, the take home is we want your life to be better, healthier, and better you in 2025. But every good news, there's also what? What follow every good news? Can anybody tell me? Every good news comes along with what?
More good news.
More good news, okay? What else? Every good news comes along with what? Responsibility.
Taking actions.
You have to take action. Remember what Tony was emphasizing earlier. Action, 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 right? Don't say sedentarily, then you expect a miracle to happen. No, we need to be active. We need to take information we've heard. Let's put it into practice. So our School of Bio-Natural Medicine, this is our legacy. Every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. UK time, we have this particular presentation on various topics. Next week might be, Aisha actually controls all of that. The other way might be menopause. The other way might be all the different conditions that is affecting the human race. Once you have cells in your body, then we are for you. And we're confident that we'll be able to provide you with some solutions, as we have already done it for many, many people over the years. And Saturday, we have our entrepreneurship program, which again, that within the health and wellness. And majority of you are here, we will send you invite as well. This next Saturday is going to be a super, super Saturday. Tony, you are invited as well. What that does, anybody with a mobile phone, anybody with energy costs, who are paying for the electricity, for their gas, on average at the moment in the UK, we are paying about £200-300 a month. Yes? In my household anyway. £200-300. That's a lot of money. Now, we have some industry experts who are coming next Saturday that can say to you, they can help you to reduce that bill from 200, 300 to under £100. Isn't that crazy? Right? And your phone bill, I mean, my company phone bill, I was paying about 300 before, but that's now been reduced to £51 a month. From 300, 400 pounds to £51 a month. Our gas and electricity, believe me, they go beyond roof. And many, many other households. That's our entrepreneurship program. This Saturday. Cost reduction. As the saying goes, I'm an accountant. That's my first qualification about 40 years ago, before I go into health and wellness. There are two ways you make money. You increase your profit by making more sales. Or what's the second one? You reduce your cost. That will be a subject of interest. That's why it's called VVIP for this Saturday. Super, super Saturday for this particular Saturday. So Aisha is going to design all of that, and we'll send you the invite and invite a lot of your colleagues and friends. So at School of Bio-Natural, we do two things fundamentally. What are those two things? We promote good health, and we also promote financial health in total. Wednesday for health and Saturday financial health. Back to you, Aisha, and I'm sure you have a few minutes to take some few questions and answer. Then you bring the whole session to a close.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunny. A massive shout out to our brilliant speakers for today. Tony Kelly and Dr. Sunny Ahonse. Thank you for sharing the invaluable knowledge and personal stories with us. You have truly inspired us to take the charge of our health in many ways. I feel it's never too late to start your own journey to a fitter, healthier, and more active you. Just keep these positive vibes flowing. Take actions, which is very important, and make 2025 your year of wellness. Yes, so before we close out today's session, any last comment, any questions? And yes, I've also mentioned that our topic for next week, which is Wednesday, 7 p.m. UK time, it's men's health and well-being strategy. And our speaker will be Derek Given. Any questions, any comment? Tony, would you like to just make a last comment before we close today's session? Any comment from your side, Tony? Tony, you're on mute.
You need to unmute.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the session, and thanks for those who joined as well. As usual, they're always very thought-provoking questions are coming in. But thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you everybody for being a part of your Know Your Body program today. We are thrilled to have you with us today, and we can't wait to see you at the next session, as just mentioned by Dr. Sunny.